Hi there YouTube, welcome to Fanfare for the Conscious. Sustainable City Slicker Rick Paris here, and today I'm going to be taking you on a little tour of my parents' back garden, where I've been teaching myself over the last couple of years a little bit about aquaponics, more recently about land management and traditional soil farming as well. As you can see, the weather's not been particularly kind to us today, but I shall do my best to show you around anyway. It's not actually been brilliant for the last week or so, which means I've not managed to get quite as much done as I was hoping to get done, but I do have a lot of plans and I'll talk you through those a little bit as well. So you're looking at the spot now at the top of the garden where the version 1 of the backyard aquaponics setup was running a couple of years ago when I first started playing with these. We had a bunch of goldfish in there. There was 4 of them, and then with 2 long pots where we were growing successfully. Myself was growing some salad. I can't remember which variety it was, but it was lettuce of some sort, a loose leaf lettuce variety, so I was able to harvest that as we went. Didn't need to wait for sort of full heads to grow. Eventually the goldfish did actually unfortunately outgrow that setup, and after that we then moved it and expanded it over here, and you'll see in a moment. There we are. So looking over here, and this is where version 2 of the aquaponics setup was. We had a single fish tank underneath. There was no sump running from it. The water was basically going straight from the pots that you see here, through some hosing and pipework and back down into the fish tank itself. There's actually, over in the corner here, you can see that little white power point sticking through the vegetation. That's where I was powering the pond pump from that was running the aquaponics setup itself. There is actually a spare line on that at the minute, so what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do in the future is build a small rack for these 2 pots, which can sit where the old setup was, over here in the corner, around there. And then basically take a portion of the water out of the pond and using that same pond pump run it back through those pots and down into the fish tank, into the pond again. So, we're now all the way up at the top of the garden, and just showing you this little patch here that I've been developing. Now originally when I got here, the edge, far end here, ran in a diagonal across from about where the centre of the screen is there, all the way up there into the corner where the edge of the pond is. Now obviously I've squared that all off, because in that little patch up there next to the pond I'm looking to build a greenhouse, which will be a sloped wall, 45 degrees glass, facing approximately south, hopefully enable us to catch plenty of light there and get some good growth in that greenhouse. I have tilled the soil, and I've also built up a bank at the back because we had a little bit of excess soil. Used a retaining wall there to hold all of that up there. Now I'm suffering a little bit with some quite clay soil around here, which is, as you can see, leaving the lower section of this planting area very much waterlogged. Basically built on a very, very large slab of clay, and with no idea how deep that slab of clay actually goes. So there's not been any deep bore drainage put in, unfortunately. You can see the black currants that we've got in there. They've been in for about 5 days or so now. Starting to leaf up quite nicely, even starting to see some flowers on there. These are cuttings from a plant that was originally growing in the front before that was turned into a driveway. My gran rescued them and brought them out here, and yeah, we've transplanted them into here. The upper bit at the back I'm going to try and do some fruit. We've got bramble coming up underneath the fence there, so I'm going to train that along the fence, and obviously we'll have the blackcurrant bushes at the front. We've got a strawberry down there in the pot, which was kindly donated to me by an old school friend of mine, Dwayne. Hi Dwayne, thank you very much for your strawberry. I will put it to good use. And we've also got a raspberry as well, it's currently in a pot. A small cutting from that. I'm waiting for it to sort of develop and take hold a little bit more before we get that one in the ground. And now over the back here is the pond. That is eventually going to feed the greenhouse, which will be placed just behind me. I know it's very, very scruffy looking at the minute. I literally just put enough water in it when I was digging it to hold the liner down, so that I could acquire some brick and dress it all up quite nicely. Not managed to get round to that one yet, though I do have a potential source for some brick to sort that out. Once that's all sorted, it will eventually feed into the greenhouse, which is going to be here, and I'm going to be building that greenhouse from the equipment from the stock over here in my boneyard. So we've got two nice big pieces of glass there from an old shower cubicle. One of them has a door inset in it, which is fantastic. And then underneath this tarp, we've just got lots and lots of pallets and wood from those pallets. Always on the lookout for these bad boys, because they're dead easy to break down, and obviously I want to try and keep my costs to a minimum. So, there's a very quick tour around the small plot that I'm working to develop. Apologies, I don't have a little bit more to show you. The last week of weather has been really quite soggy, so I've very much struggled to get anything planted or be able to do much work out here, but I'm hoping the coming week should bring slightly better weather and allow me to finish off with this. Thank you once again for sharing that most precious resource of your time with me today. If you like this video, please click the thumbs button. If you want to see more from me and follow on this journey with me, click subscribe. You've been watching Fanfare for the Conscious. I am Rick Paris, Sustainable City Slicker. And that just leaves me to say, remember, we didn't come here to play on easy.